Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be solving the question swap nodes in pairs, in which we've been given a linked list. Each linked list represents a number. We've been told to swap every pair of elements, every adjacent pair of elements. So let's say we have 1 and 2 over here. We will swap them. 3 and 4, we will swap them. And then we have to return the head of this processed linked list. We've been told very strictly that we are not supposed to modify the values in the lists nodes. We have to exchange the nodes links themselves. Now, of course, we could probably change the values of the lists nodes and get away with it. The answer will pass, but that is not what the question is supposed to teach us. The question is supposed to teach us a little something about recursion and how to use recursive calls effectively to get our answer in this particular case. So without further ado, let's get to an example. Let's say we've been given these elements 1 to 5. What we'll do is something very simple. We will make recursive calls to divide our problem into small chunks of 2. So the first function call will deal with these two elements, next will deal with these two elements, then so on and so forth. That is how the problem progresses. The way it goes on is rather simple. We start off, we say that firstly, let's just identify the scope of our problem, which is these two elements. Let's store the value of the next pair of elements. Whatever is the first node in that pair, let's store its value. So let's call that value next pair head, because it is the head of the next pair that we're supposed to solve. We will use this shortly. Don't get confused if you don't understand why we're using this. I haven't explained it yet. That is what we're just storing for now. As far as the current pair is concerned, we have our head, right? That is what is given to us over here. Our head is the input. So the next element would be head.next, which is this one over here. So what we are supposed to do now is make, let me just erase this part first. Yeah, we are supposed to swap them. So actually this node will now start pointing over here to the head, right? So what we're supposed to do is next dot next is actually going to be head. So you will ask, okay, then head is still pointing to the next node. Where will this head now start to point? The answer is very simple. We have effectively changed the position of these nodes. And what we say next is, fine, 2 is pointing to 1. 1 should point to whatever comes next. Okay. Head dot next. This will be the answer to the rest of the problem, which is over here. Whatever is solved over here, just attach head to that answer. Sounds good enough? So let's say the function is called swap pairs over here. That is what we will call over here, swap pairs. Now if you notice, we've been given head as the input. When we make a recursive call to solve for the next pair of elements, let's say that is 3 and 4 over here, we have to pass the next head, which is 3, which is why we have saved this value beforehand, because this link does not exist anymore. We have started pointing it over here. So we need to save a value somehow. So we will pass whatever node is there as the beginning of our next pair. So we will perform this recursive call, and that will simply attach head to whatever comes over here. Alright, so let's do a small dry run and see what we get. So 2 is pointing to 1. Then we have called swap pairs with 3 as the head again. When 3 is the head, next would be 4. Next dot next will be head. So 4 will start pointing towards 3, right? Then head, which is 3 right now, the next value of head will be whatever comes afterwards, which is ideally 5. So this has changed to 5 already. So we will perform swap pairs on the value of 5 as the head. So this pair of problems is also solved now. And the head that is returned is 4. Now if you notice, 4 was head dot next originally, right? So we return the next value. Same goes over here. We had head, head's next value was 2. 2 is what will be returned as our answer, right? If you see it over here, 2 is the new head now. So that is what we return as the answer. 4 is the head of this particular pair. That is what will be returned, which will be attached to 1. So we will simply return this next node. And then we move on to 5. We notice that there's only one node over here. So if there's only one node, or if there are no nodes remaining, we simply return as it is, because there is nothing much to do there. There's no swapping to be done. So in that case, the answer would look something like this. We will start with 2. That is our head, which is represented by this value. 2 points to 1. 1 points to the solution of this particular problem, which is 4, as I mentioned. 4 points to 3. And 3 points to whatever is the solution of the next pair of problems, which is 5. And since there was no swapping done over here, 5 continues to point to nothing. And we will return 2. That will be our answer. And this is all the code that we need, with just one small edge case, which is to handle a single node or no nodes at all as our input, which we will deal with in the next video, where we'll implement this thing in JavaScript. And it will be very simple, very short, very sweet. So stay tuned and follow for more.